VVPATs charge. Congress flags report. Urges EC to restore public trust.
आखिर आप क्या छिपा रहे हैं? आखिर आप क्यों छिपा रहे हैं? क्या ये तकनीकी खराबी है? क्या ये मानव रचित खराबी है? जो भी है बताइए, सबको विश्वास में लीजिए, तमाम राजनीतिक दलों को आप बुलाइए।
Congress alleges 37% VVPATs used in 2019 elections defective. Fear-mongering or real concern?
All right, let's take that question to our panelists this evening. Joining me is Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, former Chief Election Commissioner, as well as Mr. Pawan Khera, Congress social media head. He's the one who held a press conference today making this charge. Mr. Khera, my first question to you. 37% VVPATs are defective is what your press conference stated. Till now, the EC hasn't confirmed on either. So what are these charges based on?
Preeti, this is the Election Commission of India letter dated 27 January 2022. It has the serial numbers of all the VVPATs we discussed in the press conference today. This came in one of the media outlets, and that's what triggered this press conference. So we are not talking in thin air. This is, as I said, official document of the Election Commission of India. 37%, which is 6,50,000 of the 17,40,000 VVPATs.
But Mr. Khera, the Election Commission says it's way less than 3 lakhs.
Subsequent elections. Well, here is the letter by the Election Commission. So let them come out. Let's not squabble about whether it's 3 lakh or it's 2 lakh or it's 6 lakhs or it's 7 lakhs. Why weren't the SOPs followed? Mr. Qureshi is a veteran. He would be in a better position to tell us about the SOPs, but whatever little we as a political party understand about the SOPs, the regional and national political party representatives should have been taken into confidence. What were the defects? Why didn't the FLC, the first level checking done, why wasn't it done by the district election officer? All these questions demand answers. After all, we are talking about the importance of a vote.
But, Mr. Khera, there seems to be, a push by the Congress to link it to what happened in 2019. Now, isn't that far-fetched?
These machines, Preeti, were bought in 2018. 2019 was the Lok Sabha election, and then after that there have been several assembly elections, several by-elections to the Lok Sabha, and several by-elections to the assemblies. So all these machines were used in elections from 2019 onwards. We may have won some of them, we may have lost some of them. That's besides the point. Point is, how can you use machines which were defective? Why didn't you take us into confidence? What was the defect? All these questions, as I said, every single voter, we owe it to the voter. The voter deserves to know the answers to these questions.
Mr. Khera, the other thing that the EC has made quite clear is that, there's a distinction between EVMs and VVPATs. If there is a defect in a VVPAT, it doesn't mean that the vote that was cast had an error. What it means is that possibly the process of casting a vote would be stalled because of the defective piece. So the attempt of the Congress to, marry the two could be nullified in many ways.
Preeti, let's go back to why was the VVPAT introduced. UPA was in power, and I remember going as part of the inspection team from different political parties, and I was representing the Congress party in Delhi to see the demo of a VVPAT. Why was a VVPAT introduced? The VVPAT was introduced so that the voter is doubly sure of the EVM, that the EVM is functioning right, and if I have cast my vote to X party, the VVPAT will show yes, the vote has actually gone to that X party. So if the VVPAT is faulty, how would I know whether my vote went to the right party? Also, Preeti, there is another very important aspect of a VVPAT. The slip which comes out and falls into the box in VVPAT, they should retain the slip for, I think, 12 months after the election. In this 2019 election, please ask them, we have our queries of the RTI. The VVPAT slips were destroyed within months, they didn't wait for 12 months. So there are several questions that demand answers from the Election Commission.
Mr. Khera, you're quoting media reports. Till now, the Election Commission has said nothing to the tune of how many months were those machines destroyed in.
So what else do we quote from, Preeti? If the Election Commission chooses silence instead of clarifying all these apprehensions, some apprehensions are based on media reports, some apprehensions are based on actual facts reported to us by several experts, technical people from the IITs and so on and so forth. So if the Election Commission doesn't want us to go by media reports, maybe they don't trust the media, then they should come out with answers. Let's take every single political party, registered political party into confidence, have a wider consultation process, make everything public, let people's faith in the process of elections be restored. What's so wrong? It's not a very heavy price to pay. After all, we are talking about our democracy.
But the EC is of the opinion that what is taking place in terms of identifying defective VVPATs or EVMs is due process. This happens routinely. It's a check which the EC conducts before every election. So to make such a big deal of it is politicizing the issue.
If the EC got to know in 2021 that the following VVPATs are defective, we are sitting in April of 2023, Preeti. There have been several elections between 2021 and 2020. Let's forget 2019 for the sake of argument. Between 2021 and 23, we've had several assembly elections, several by-elections. So if you're talking about this being a due process and it's a routine exercise, the due process also includes taking into confidence regional and national political parties. Why weren't we all taken into confidence? Why weren't the details of these defects shared with all of us? Because that's due process.
But Mr. Khera,
that's the
right
SOP.
after. No, Mr. Khera, right after the 2019 elections, where not you, then right even before the Uttar Pradesh elections, number of times even the Samajwadi Party had raised the issue. But there was a proper press conference conducted by the EC to allay these fears, where they asked you openly that come out and tell us if there's a problem with the EVM. Crack it. If you so insinuate that this is a fixed match. But that didn't happen.
Now, we are shifting from VVPATs to EVM. Let's discuss the EVM also. There have been instances, several instances reported by channels such as yours, who are still managing to report things honestly at times. There have been instances
at all times, sir.
EVMs being ferried in at all times, if you insist. But there have been instances of EVMs being ferried in unauthorized vehicles. Vehicles which have nothing to do with the Election Commission or with the district administration or with any government department.
No, Mr. Khera, that is something the EC also made very clear, that in certain states, in certain situations where things are tough, sometimes one odd incident is blown up and the opposition goes to town with it. There was a proper press conference that was conducted at the back of many such reports. But I'll come back to the question. If tomorrow you win Karnataka, are VVPATs here still defective? Is that going to be the claim?
Preeti, I knew I would face these questions even this morning when I was doing my PC. I knew this would be asked, and it's a valid question. It's not who wins or who loses. The faith and the confidence in the election process of every single voter is more important than my victory or their victory or my defeat or their defeat. It's not relevant who wins. But what is relevant is that my faith as a voter in the process of election needs to be absolutely solid, cannot be shaken. It should not be shaken. And that the onus of that lies with the government, lies with the Election Commission of India, lies with the opposition, lies with the media, lies with each one of us who are the stakeholders of democracy.
My last question to you, sir, is that only because the EC is coming out and saying, trust us. we have routinely gone out. What is happening is a routine exercise. The Congress per se, where your party is concerned, if tomorrow you win Karnataka, will you question it? Did you question VVPATs or say the EVMs when you won Himachal?
Preeti, as a responsible opposition party on our part and as a responsible media channel on your part, our job is to convey the apprehensions of every single voter to the government and to the Election Commission of India. We'll be failing in our duty just because we get blinded by one victory here or a victory there. 14 political parties, mind you, a few weeks ago, had a meeting at Mr. Sharad Pawar's house discussing EVMs. Most of these regional parties have been winning elections also. So irrespective of whether we win or lose an election, we do not want people to lose confidence in the election process. Period. That's our priority number one.
All right. Okay. Mr. Khera, appreciate you joining us. You said, one needs to raise apprehensions. We put these apprehensions there. But having said that, the BJP says this is red herring. You do it every election, and raise it the bogey of defective VVPATs or EVMs. But we're going to come down to it. Thank you for joining us. I want to cut across to Dr. Qureshi right now. Dr. Qureshi, at the back of the conversation that I was having with Mr. Khera, what do you make of the charges? Usually when you look at the percentage, the EC says it's all routine. That it's all routine. There are always defective EVMs and VVPATs in this charge. It's VVPATs in question, and they get fixed. But a 37%, if it is correct, or even let's say it's 30% or 25%, it's a huge percentage of defective VVPATs. Usually it shouldn't be more than 5 or 6%.
Yes, I think it's a very large number. And it is extremely important that the Election Commission itself, without this becoming a major controversy or becoming a legal case, they should come out with a detailed explanation, a statement of fact, exactly what has happened, how many machines have been found defective and why and how, and what is being done. So otherwise it will only lead to speculation. The Election Commission has to come out very clearly about it.
The Election Commission, Dr. Qureshi, says that the numbers much lesser. Of course, one can await a detailed press conference to allay those fears. But having said that, there is an attempt today by the opposition to suggest that these VVPATs could be responsible for an error in vote. For somebody who's been the former CEC, I want you to explain and possibly differentiate the process. Because the EC insists that, the EVMs are responsible if there could be an error in vote. Where the VVPAT is concerned, at best, a defective VVPAT will stop the process of voting, which will stall the voting process, not lead to an error on the vote that was cast.
Actually, we don't know the facts, and facts have to be in the public domain. So exactly what is the problem? What is the defect? Why such a large number? How are they discovered? What are they going to do? All this has to be brought out publicly, clearly. Otherwise, there will be speculation and all kinds of speculation. Already, the EVMs and VVPATs have been in dispute. They have been a subject matter of litigation. 23 parties went even to the Supreme Court about the counting of VVPAT, the sequence, and various other issues. And on top of that, 37% defective VVPAT. Now, what is the defect? Obviously, everyone must know. So the only answer is a public statement, a detailed statement for everybody, a common man and a technical person, for everyone to understand what exactly is the matter.
There's another attempt, that is made by the opposition. The Congress made it. Mr. Khera made it in the show a short while ago. Is to possibly connect the. We don't know the percentage yet, whether it is 37% or not, is to connect these defective VVPATs all the way to 2019 and say that possibly there were votes that were cast which had errors in them. Now, is there a connect at all, Dr. Qureshi, or could there be a connect at all?
No, because that would have come to light in 2019 itself. It is 4 years down the line. But at the same time, unless we know what the defect is, sometimes, when the slip gets cut and goes down automatically in the sealed box, Now it doesn't get cut. No, that's a different issue. So sometimes it means you voted for X and what appears on the screen is Y. Surely that is a defect that is very, very serious and that needs to be addressed. So unless we know what are those problems which have been discovered and which are being repaired, the rest will only be speculation, which is actually a very counterproductive.
Dr. Qureshi, I'm going to ask you two quick questions. Now, where the layman is concerned, because there are so many charges which fly thick and fast where political parties are concerned, the difference between an EVM and a VVPAT, what is the difference? And once again, I will ask you the same question, which many opposition parties, including the Congress, are leading up to, that an error in both could actually lead to an error in the voting process or the vote that you have cast. For example, the Congress might suggest or is suggesting in their press conference this morning that you might press the button for the Congress, but what could be delivered is a vote for the BJP. Is it possible if a defective VVPAT is there, it could lead to that? Because the EC says no, at best, what it could lead to is breaking down and the process of casting the vote will be stalled.
Yeah, the basic difference in the two machines is of technology. EVM are solid state machines, whereas the VVPAT have a printer in it. It is an electromechanical device with a moving part. And the moving parts have a tendency to get out of order many more times than a solid state machine. I'll give you just one simple comparison. You have a calculator which has never gone out of order in the last 5 years, whereas your printer has gone out of order 10 times in the last 1 week. Sometimes the paper gets jammed, sometimes the toner finishes and you have to fill it in again. So these kind of problems are much more in a VVPAT, in a moving machine. Therefore, the likelihood of more machines found with problems is a lot more in the case of the VVPAT. And but it is true that so long as the vote is going safely into the EVM, and that is fine. But that is not enough. After all, VVPAT is part of the EVM system now. The same, the VVPAT prints a slip, which is a proof that you voted for a particular candidate. And those slips are counted, although only 5 per assembly constituency, but in 5 assembly constituencies, 100% of the slips are counted and they are tallied with the count in the machines. And of course, it's a matter of comfort that lakhs and lakhs of chits have been counted in the last 3, 4, 5 years, and maybe even now 10 years, and they've always tallied, which is a good thing. So, but all these things are very simple and they need to be explained and brought in public domain instead of, coming through a investigative report for here, there, or a leak or in response to an RTI. Obviously, there is a major controversy brewing. So,
all right,
Election Commission itself should come out clean and should give a detailed statement tomorrow.
But, okay, Dr. Qureshi, now there is a controversy brewing, but...
Because it's a question of knowing the facts. What are the facts? Nobody knows. Just speculation.
Dr. Qureshi, there is a controversy brewing, but, it's not that the opposition hasn't raised it earlier. We've had multiple press conferences where multiple political parties that have been hung up to dry in the electoral process would come out and blame EVM machines or VVPATs. So there is a history to this. The EC says that, listen, this is due process, what we do. It's routine. But the number is a little concerning if it's 37% of that. So do you think the EC should come out and just, hold a press conference, make it all clear, all above board? What would you do if you were the CEC today?
I'll come out with a detailed statement and a convincing statement, and it should be so clear and honest that everybody should believe it. That they are saying that these are the details, and allow everybody to come and cross-check. And also, I will immediately put, we have a committee of 5 independent experts. They are all they are professors of 5 different IITs. Unless they clear certify some technology, we do not adopt that technology. So their verification and certification will be absolutely essential. I'll ask them to look into this and give me a report and a clean sheet.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Dr. S.Y. Qureshi. Thank you there. I would reckon, with all that is brewing about, one would think that maybe the EC should come out very clearly, hold a press conference and allay all the fears. What they do say is this is all routine, it happens. Is the Congress or the opposition making a mountain of a molehill, just raising a bogey that these EVMs are defective, or is there real concern? Trust us to keep a spotlight on all developments. Thank you for watching. Up next is Rahul Kanwar.
Justice, liberty, equality, the pillars that built India. A nation where everyone has dignity and opportunities to prosper. But today, over 75 years after